Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another ATS News live stream. This is another deep dive into the Chris Watts case. We have been doing these deep dives we've been digging into this case on this channel for years now, but have been doing weekly deep dives on this case since about November. So I just appreciate you guys showing up and discussing this case. We've been going through the FBI interview. So Chris Watts, the day after the family was reported, quote unquote, missing, he went in for an FBI interview, and we've been kind of breaking it down and discussing it for the last few weeks. So this hopefully will be our final part of it. And then we can move on to more topics in the case. So another thing that has kind of presented itself this week is this new article. And everyone's been discussing it. Scott Rice, Zawoki, even Law and Crime did a segment on this today. So this came out yesterday. So Killer Dad, first off, before I read this, can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hi, Angie. Hi, Paul, Christina, Sherry, Sweet Melissa, Melly's here, Pointer Lover, Carol Freaking Claus, Adrian, Tony. Hey guys, Florida Bass Fishing. Seems like audio is good. The purple one. Johnny's here serving some tea. Oh, I hope you feel better. I know you love when we discuss this case. Suzanne's here from the UK. Thank you so much for listening. Okay, sound is good. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. I shall continue. Alrighty. So like I said, this came out this week. Killer Dad Chris Watts is now blaming Jezebel Mistress for the decision to brutally murder his wife and little girls. I don't know. Okay. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know that all her guests were in the chamber of death. Watts shared most of his thoughts with his fellow prisoner and spiritual twin, Dylan Tallman, whom he planned on writing a book with before backing out. Now, that is not the information we have. The information we have, which we've been reporting on, is they did publish this devotional book. We discussed it in live streams, months ago. And they put a picture of Chris and Dylan on the back of it, had Chris's name on it as a co-author. It had scriptures in there. And the picture that they picked was a picture of Chris from a Thrive trip that he took with Shanann. And they cropped Shanann out of the picture so that it's just Chris and put that on the back of the devotional book. And we all criticized him. It was like, what's going on here? Why would they crop out Shanann? Why would they use this photo of Chris? It's not even a recent one, like very distasteful. And apparently they had a falling out with each other, and Dylan republished the book without Chris's picture on it and without his name on it. So that's the information we have.
Selling your home? Realtor.com's Real Choice Selling lets you choose from multiple agent proposals, because when agents compete, you win.
Don't all apps do that?
Not really.
All right, let me continue on with this. Killer dad Chris Watts is blaming his former mistress for his decision to brutally murder his wife and 2 little girls, and only refers to her as Jezebel. The Post has obtained several handwritten notes from the 39-year-old Watts, who was serving a life sentence in a small cell at Dodge Correctional Institution. In one letter dated March 2020, Chris wrote a prayer of confession. "The words of a harlot have brought me low," he wrote. "Her flattering speech were like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know that all her guests were in the chamber of death." "How did I let this happen?" he continued. "The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and I followed the perfume of a strange woman." Watts shared most of his thoughts with Dylan Tallman, a fellow prisoner at the Wisconsin lockup who befriended Watts. Tallman was in the cell next to Watts, and the 2 men became close. "We started talking," Tallman says. "He had a lot of long conversations. We had a lot of long conversations, spiritual conversations." Tallman was in prison for possession of narcotics when he met Watts. Although he has served his sentence, he is now serving 4 months for driving on a suspended license, which was a probation violation. Come on, Dylan. They began studying the Bible together, with Watts even calling Tallman his spiritual twin. They studied the scriptures together and talked daily, often encouraging each other about the hardships of life behind bars. So this is a letter, I suppose, from Watts. I recognize the handwriting. "Dear Heavenly Father, I have backslidden. I am like a sheep gone astray from the flock and have fallen into a pit. The snare of the enemy has The snare of the enemy has entrapped me. The words of a harlot has brought me low. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know all her guests were in the chamber of death. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. How did I not see it? How did I let this happen? The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and I still follow the perfume of a strange woman. The web of enemy squeezes around my heart and is cocooning my soul to the point of suffocation. The enemy and Jezebel mock and scorch me as they were celebrate from another capture. But oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works of the children of men. You, O Lord, did not leave me captive or condemned. You heard the prayer of the destitute and of the prisoner upon to death. You opened my eyes. You made my ears ready to perceive, and you said, "Come forth." The web of death loosened its grip, and I walked into the light of your presence. As I humbly kneeled before you, you said, "Go and sin no more. Your faith has made you whole. In Jesus' precious name, amen." Watts wrote dozens of handwritten letters to God while he was in jail. And there's Dylan. For more than a year, Watts had planned to write a book with Dylan. When Watts changed his mind, see, this is all, we know that they did write a book together. So I have no idea like why they're rehashing or rewriting what we already know. Like, we have the screenshots of the book with Chris's picture on it, with Chris's name on it, produced this year, and then he republished it without Watts on it. Anyways, for more than a year, Watts had planned to write a big book with Tallman. When Watts changed his mind, Tallman has now released a series of 3 books titled The Cell Next Door. Part 1 and 2 are available. The 3rd installment was released on Wednesday. So a lot of people are like, okay, so should we believe things that are being stated? I mean, that was a letter written in his own words talking about Jezebel. But is other people have said that Tallman's just milking this for a buck. So you guys let me know what you think. The book details how the lives of Watts and Tallman intersected and discuss how they became friends through Bible study and deep conversations. In the first book, Tallman said he and Watts called Kessinger Jezebel as they talked about her, a reference to a biblical woman who, by her teaching, she misleads my servants into sexual immorality. I was having an affair with this girl, and then I ended up in love with 2 women at the same time, Watts told Tallman, and according to the book. See, I also think that that's bull crap, because I don't think that he loved Shanann anymore. So I just don't think that it was like, oh, I fell in love with 2 women. Like, I think that he was done with Shanann and allowed this to happen because he was done with Shanann. Personally, that's my opinion. But apparently that's not what Dylan is saying Chris said. Let me go on. It's what led up to what happened. She is of evil spirits like Jezebel. In 1 Kings and 2 Kings book of the Bible, Jezebel was a wicked queen who served the people away from God and convinced them to worship idols. He admitted that he was stupid to cheat on his wife, and he asked God's forgiveness every day for his infidelity, Tallman writes. What about for what he did to them all? And Nico. Watts claimed to Tallman that Kessinger told him to choose between her and his family on the night of the murders. Jezebel was the forbidden fruit, he allegedly said, and it was costly. Watts has admitted to strangling his pregnant wife, Shanann, in their Colorado home in August 2018. He then drove her body to a job site at the oil company where he worked and dumped her. His 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, were in the truck. He suffocated them as they begged for mercy and stashed their bodies in the oil drums. Allegedly, that's what he says. The reason why I say that is because no cadaver dog picked up death in his work truck. Watts pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. And the reason why I bring the cadaver dogs up is because I believe she left the house alive and then was killed at Serby. Watts pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Colorado prison officials soon arranged to have him transferred to Wisconsin for his safety. And I was just referring to this to somebody else recently. Of all the crimes and people who commit crimes, have you ever seen a case where they're like, okay, for your safety, we're going to transfer you states and states away? To me, it's odd, personally. Kessinger still lives in Colorado, but now goes by a different name. She's not spoken publicly for several years about her relationship with Watts. She did not return the post messages for comment. Interesting. I wonder what information they have to speak to her at. All right, so that is the latest, guys. Let me see your thoughts in chat. And then let me just share. I like to share videos of the victims as well while we do these deep dives. So, of course, this is little Bella. This was a Facebook post from Shanann on May 2nd, 2018. So the year that they passed, before her pregnancy announcement and before her trip to North Carolina.
So soft.
What do you think about that one, Bella? Oh.
So good.
It's so good. Is it that good? So what do you want for breakfast? You want pancakes with chocolate? And you want French toast and lemonade, right? Right, baby? There you go. You bet. We'll see you guys later. How are you?
All right. Okay, so Becca, thank you for that. They did it for Letitia as Stout as well. Okay, thank you for that. What state did she get moved to? Curious there. What is her new name? Vocal Fry? Right. NK played a stupid, selfish. She couldn't have played him if he didn't enjoy the game. Right. I feel Shanann was possibly drugged, but still alive, and the girls were still alive when they left the house, in my opinion. Totally agree. Totally agree. I know the videos are hard, but I feel like we have to remember them and honor them. Hey, Roxanne. Good to see you, and thank you again for the Cash App today. And I see my moderators are sharing my baby registry in the chat. Listen, the only reason why I'm sharing is because you guys have asked for it. So just wanted to, let you guys know that it is in there and that, everything. Thank you in advance for anything and everything. Okay, she's in Kansas. Very interesting. Hey, Deco. Good to see you. So the sheet that they found out in Survey only had dirt on it. So this was something that we kind of dove into in one of our past live streams. You would have to refer to the playlist to find it. I have no idea where it is. Or what you can do is go to Google, search Chris Watts discovery files, and then you're able to word search. You can word search the words sheet. You'll find fitted sheet at Survey, and you will find that the detective in his notes wrote that there was nothing on the sheet except dirt from it being dragged. So there is no DNA on it. There's no fecal matter. There's no urine. There's no blood. So that's another reason why I don't believe that she left the house dead. I think that he lied. He's a liar. We have to remember that. Thank you so much, Purple One. Always look forward to your Watts lives and appreciate you. Thank you very much. And Cindy, I saw that you became a member before the live stream started. I really appreciate that. And welcome to the team. Got that right there. Thank you so much. Derek, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I also appreciate you very much being around for a long time, one of my longest members. And welcome to the new members. And if you're able to thank Derek, if you got a membership, he's right in chat. So that would be awesome for you to do. So another thing I wanted to share before we get into the FBI interview was this post on Shanann's Facebook in June. So this is after the pregnancy announcement. I'm not logged in, so it has that stupid banner on the bottom. Sorry about that. But this is after she announced the pregnancy publicly. She announced it to Chris. This is before hers and Chris's San Diego trip. And this is before she goes to North Carolina. A reason why I want to kind of share this isn't the first post that she kind of, lays out there her itinerary for the summer, which was completely public. The reason why I state that is because we know through the discovery files and through her phone extraction that the mistress was searching the wife, and she was looking up, her Facebook and her information. So this was likely a post that Nicole had seen and was able to know the plans for the summer. We had such an eventful weekend. 3 birthday parties, play dates, 3 Thrive locals, concerts, and more. First trimester is no joke. Today, I'm packing the girls' suitcase for our 6-week trip to North Carolina. This should be fun. Then I need to pack mine. This will be harder since most won't fit. Then off to do a deep cleaning on the house before the girls and I leave, plus grocery shop for the, quote, bachelor. See, this is like where it's so... I don't even know the word for it, because she's made more than one post about like, oh, Chris thinks he's a bachelor now and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, you have no idea how much of a bachelor he actually thought he was around this time. Sadly, for 5 weeks on his own and meal prep for him. A lot to do this week. Thankful for Thrive. Not doing burn. Doctor approved. And this is her post. So I'd just like to share a little bit from the victims before we share Chris. NK knew everything Shanann posted, in my opinion. Absolutely. Deep cleaning. Her house was clean. Yeah, her and Chris were definitely OCD clean freaks. Yes, that was stated. However, he stated that to Cadel, the author, and that was after that was like his 3rd confession. So he has had multiple confessions. Anything he stated to Cadel, I don't believe, mostly because some of the things that he stated to Cadel, he changed from what he had stated to law enforcement in the prison interview and in his initial polygraph interviews in the FBI interviews. So when he says that he was mad the girls woke back up because Bella came into the room and he had to deal with her watching him drop Shanann because she was too heavy, I think that that's a lot of BS personally. I think that he's trying to deflect the real truth away from everybody and paint this picture that just isn't accurate. At that point, he was already in prison. So what does he have to lose? Absolutely nothing. So he's going to just protect the truth and people who are involved, in my opinion. I do think it's possible and likely that she was wrapped in that sheet and dragged. That's why the detective said that the dirt looked like it was from dragging something in that sheet. I do think that she left the house in the sheet. I just don't think that she was dead yet. That's just my opinion, because he states, she defecated herself and that it smelled in the trunk. Well, there was no evidence of that in the truck, no evidence of death in the truck, and nothing on the sheet that indicated that she had defecated over it. Yes, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you so much, Kim, for that. I really appreciate that very much. Unravel has a great channel as well. And I don't know if she's here, but the House Huddle, my other moderator, has good Watts deep dives. She is doing a Watts deep dive tomorrow night, believe 9 or 9:30. So if you guys want to check that out, I definitely recommend her research for sure. But let me just see your guys' thoughts before I pull up. Oh, Deco, that's weird. No problem. Honestly, all I ask for you guys to do is like and subscribe. Anything else is obviously appreciated. But that's weird that it won't let you send one. all the links also, like for my PayPal, my Cash App, all that is, the baby registry is in my description box as well. So YouTube takes 30% of the super chats. So in case you want to not share that with YouTube, you're more than welcome to send it to those other links. Not that I'm asking you to, I'm just letting you know, because a lot of people don't know that YouTube takes that much. Just looking at your guys' comments. Also, the only believable thing Chris said was that there was a smell in the truck. Why make that up? I don't know. I don't know why he lies. But you know what's interesting too, Paul, is the smell he described it as was skunk. And from everyone that I know, those in law enforcement as well, like dead bodies don't smell like skunk. And people have come forward and said, like, well, sometimes marijuana smells like skunk. And the dog woman, Jade, when she was in the office, smelled marijuana and asked if people in the house smoked it. So again, just saying what's out there. It's hard to kind of decipher what's true and what's not true, which also makes this case kind of interesting to kind of study, because we just don't know what's true and what's not. Alrighty, so at this point, Coder has left the room. He is leaving Chris in here by himself. All we are listening to is the clock ticking. Chris is looking at the picture of his daughters that were printed out to him. He has yet to, really break down and say, like, please find my family. It's just all very like, this is not right. Like the way he's acting is not right. If we have to go by the way that he's acting, it's suspicious. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony. That's good that you were there with her when she passed, at least. Dustin says all of Colorado smells like weed. Oh, I bet. All were alive, in my opinion. I agree, Zoe. I think that Shanann might have been sedated or left by gunpoint or whatever, but I don't think anybody died in the house, personally. I do think something happened in the basement. Maybe they were taken out of the basement. Maybe she was kind of attacked in the basement. It's very hard. Good to see you, Todd. Glad you caught alive. Would it smell like that? Unravel? I believe that the expelling of Nico didn't happen in the house or right away. There was no blood on that sheet either. The only thing described on that sheet at Survey was dirt. And from my understanding, that type of contents smell more like, I know it's gross to say, but like a fishy smell. But again, don't know. I've never experienced that, luckily. All right, so instead of watching Chris just stare at things by himself and hearing the clock tick, I had an idea. I'm curious what you guys think about it. I would play this. So this would be our visual. And then I would play I'll hold up my phone that has it pulled up, the audio of the prison interview. So what do you guys think? Play the prison interview while Chris is in here by himself, because they're observing him. Like Coder leaves the room and they observe him for a while by himself in here. So all we're going to see is just Chris by himself and the clock ticking. See, that's the thing, though, is the drive to Survey. E.E. Caroline says nobody was dead long enough to leave much of anything in the way of a cadaver smell. So cadaver dogs aren't likely to find much in the Watts case, and they didn't. But the car drive to Survey was close to an hour. And in my description box, I have linked an article that is a cadaver dog study from a university, and they pretty much say that a good percentage of the dogs trained could pick up the death smell on the carpet square within 10 minutes. So it wasn't 100%, but it was like a 90% hit of death on the carpet squares of for 10 minutes and less. So really, I don't know. It depends how good the dog is, how good the trainer is, etc. But I believe that 45 to an hour drive, that would have produced some sort of trace for a dog to pick up a death smell, personally, in my opinion. But of course, I'm not an expert. So there were multiple dogs used, Christine. There was a tracking trauma dog, but there were also multiple cadaver dogs and multiple handlers, not just Jane. All right, so like I said, I'm going to play this audio. I'm going to mute it so we don't hear the clock. And then just for some sound, we're going to skip to, I'm going to play this visual. The audio is going to be from the February 2019 prison interview. So this, of course, is August 14th, 2018. The audio playing is going to be months after he's sentenced, and only him speaking with Agent Tammy Coder, who we've seen do this whole interview so far, and then Detective Baumhover. So let's just listen to this. I'm going to go check on my little one. I told you guys that I was kind of doing this live stream, even though my husband wasn't here. He's at like a work event, so I didn't want to skip out on you guys, but I do have to go check on her. She's up laying in bed, so I just got to go, and I'll leave this right here. And again, thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like. Derek says, I'm still up in the air if Shanann died in the house and how she left. But the girls were 100% alive and left in the truck, in my opinion. I agree with you. Like, I see the shadow. I know that some people don't want to see the shadow because they don't like that AD brought it to YouTube. But somebody on Reddit found it before Armchair Detective. So, like it or not, it's there. And I believe that even the district attorney and law enforcement came out saying, like, yes, they left in the truck. So at first, the district attorney, before Chris was sentenced, was telling the whole public that everybody died in the house. He carried them out like trash. So you'll see media reports from 2018 that say that. And then as soon as it was brought to everyone's attention by the public, not even law enforcement, mind you, they might have known, but just kept it hush hush. They're like, well, what's going on here? Like in this Nate security footage, like I see Chris bend down and pick something up after a little shadow walks out to him. Yeah, I see the shadow. He admitted to it. And he pretty much asked, like, didn't you guys see it? Yeah. Some people don't see the shadow. I do. I saw the shadow too of him picking up a little girl, I think Bella, and throwing her in air swooped truck. Yes. Yep. And the dogs picked up, so that, like we talked about the tracker dogs, he gave law enforcement, hey, Marshall Dove, and everyone else who's here. Roxanne says, go check on the little one. I will. I've got a camera too, a little security camera on my phone so I can see her. Being Bio Girl, good to see you. So what was I saying? Yeah, he pretty much like says like, yeah, didn't you guys see it? And they were like, well, we wanted to be sure, or something like that. But yeah, then the whole narrative changed. So, I mean, as you can see, the district attorney's theory before the sentencing was even set was wrong. He said everyone died in the house. Okay, so yeah, the other thing I was going to say about the truck before I play this. He gave the tracker dog scents of everybody. So Shanann, Bella, and Cece were given a scent item to them. And they picked up a live scent of one of the victims. So the cadaver dog didn't alert to death, but it did alert to a live scent. So that to me is more confirmation that the kids left alive. Yes, the shadow was a theory by a lady, which Armchair Detective stole. Yeah, the lady put it out on Reddit. She wasn't on YouTube. And then he brought it to YouTube. But he claimed it as his own research, like, hey, what's this? And then everyone's like, hey, no, I've seen this information on Reddit, and it wasn't by you. It was by this woman. And then that woman passed away a couple years ago, sadly. All right, let me play this. So again, observe Chris alone by himself and listen to Chris months later discussing the case.
They have like a little single blade razor, so I just kind of, like go past it stuff and just kind of.
Just do the best you can, huh?
They just gotta go with that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How about you guys?
Good. Good.
I did not expect to see this. That's for sure.
Surprise. Yeah. Well, let me put some fears aside. We're not here for what you might think we might be here for.
But no, they didn't know what this. That's the computer room. I was like, I didn't know how to computer room.
Without computers.
Exactly.
So you remember, I talked to you, Tammy talked to you, Dave talked to you. We're all Colorado. And so the last time we talked to you was a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. That's completely different now. So your case is completely closed. Nothing about what we're going to talk about today has anything to do with an open investigation. So we're not here to get more charges on you or get any statements from you that are going to jam you up anymore. Right? That's all done. So all of our cases are closed and the court case is closed. So there's nothing that we're going to talk about today that's going to get you any type of trouble at all. And so I wanted to make sure you knew that's not why we're here. But why we are here. So the three of us work from three different agencies, right? Quite a bit different. CBI, FBI, and Frederick, different goals. And the things that happened with you kind of all brought us together. And as the months have passed on, since everything happened, we just keep in touch with each other and we keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you? And me and Tammy have talked about this, Dave and I have talked about this. Did Chris's situation seem different to you? And we keep having that conversation. We can't quite put our finger on it, right? We think that your life leading up to all the things that happened were very interesting to us. And for me personally, I don't know if you remember, but one of the last things you told me was, hey, Graham, I'm sorry that I started lying to you. And that stuck with me for the last couple months. It's been ringing in my head, right? I've never, ever worked a case like this where someone told me that ever. And so as I walked away, I thought, Chris is different. Chris is a little bit unique in that regard. So in talking with Tammy and talking with Dave, I said, what did you feel like when it all went down? When we were there, we were talking to you guys, and we all kind of, in our own different way and in our own different wording, said it all happened a bit too quick for us, right? So when we saw you last, we were talking and talking and talking about your family, about your parents, about everyone. And then the next thing you know, me and Tammy and for Dave, all of a sudden some patrol officers came in and arrested. And that was far quicker than we had hoped it would happen. And you understand why that happened, and we understand why that happened. But it left us with 1,000 questions that we didn't get to ask.
All right, I am back. Could you guys hear everything okay? Not only has he not found God, I think God has turned his back on Chris, the same as Chris has turned his back on morals. I still think he is sitting there wondering if the girls were still alive, in my opinion. Yeah, so here, and again, that's not a popular theory, but I'm with you, Tony. I think At this point, looking at this visual, and with our opinion about the porch interview that we've gone through, I definitely think it's possible he wasn't sure what had happened to the girls. And I know people, I get the comments all the time. You don't think he killed the girls? He said he did. He's a liar. And actually, he said at first that he didn't kill the girls. In fact, he said it over and over and over. And then Tammy said, did Shanann do something to them? Chicks are crazy. And then all of a sudden he's like, light bulb goes off and he's like, yeah, that's what happened. She did it. And then I had to kill her because of it. So we've never gotten the truth, in my opinion. Still to this day, we have not gotten the truth. Someone was taking out the backs of tracks in the crate against the fence. If you look at the pictures, it does appear to be some tire tracks. And remember, nobody was living in the back. Nobody lived in the back. They were building construction and they were building apartments and stuff. So if something was going to happen, why not the back? There were no cameras on the neighbor's house at that time. And here we hear Chris saying, or I mean, we hear Coder and them saying, like, it left us with so many questions. Florida, can you hear me now? Yeah, he lied. He doesn't even know how he killed the girls. So many versions, which makes me think he did not hurt the girls. I agree. And people like to say, like, he never cried. Like, he cries, like, at not sticking up for Chris. I want to make that clear. He's a scumbag. He's where he needs to be. He's guilty. He had a part in this. But there's other things to this case that have made me think, like, there's got to be more people involved. He says at first, actually, he says it in this interview here, that the girls were strangled. The girls were not strangled. They were smothered. They were asphyxiated, not strangled. He cries at his sentencing when District Attorney Rourke describes the wounds that Bella had from defensive wounds. We've also gone through his arrest pictures, and he has no marks on him whatsoever. And Bella fought back. So she fought her attacker, which are the words of the district attorney. He has come out and saying that. The medical examiner has stated that she fought her killer, had defensive markings and wounds, and yet Chris has nothing on him. So just to lay that out there. But the thing is too, Johnny, so he says, ladies, if Chris didn't kill them, there would be evidence that someone else was there. We don't have any DNA analysis in this case. So you can go through the files, you can go through the discovery, you can go through the court documents. You're not going to find Chris's DNA was here. Chris's DNA was, nothing got processed. So he gets arrested in August. He gets sentenced in November. We don't have any information from the labs of DNA in the house, DNA on the sheet, DNA in the truck, DNA on the bodies, under the fingernails. We know that they clipped the fingernails because all that's described in the very little bit that we have of the autopsy, but we don't know what was found underneath them. His defense team asked for the girls' necks to be swabbed for DNA. And they had a DNA expert who said that even though they were in oil for days, they believed that he could still pull some DNA from them. And the judge denied the swabs. So even when the defense team was trying to say, like, hey, let us look for DNA here, the judge was like, nah, not going to happen. But we'll take this plea deal and we'll just ship them off to Wisconsin and hopefully no one will wonder what's going on. Yeah, Adrian, like Adrian said, there's no physical evidence against Chris. I know you guys are going to be like, what? But I mean, that's just the truth. All we have is his multiple confessions. And statistically, as confessions change over time, they become less and less truthful. So, I mean, if you guys can give me something other than he admitted to it, I would be happy to look at it and say, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, this does link him physically to this. But all we have is his truck was out there where the bodies were found, and that he ends up admitting to it only in the plea agreement, mind you. He, up until he signed that plea agreement, never admitted to killing the girls. He kept saying, no, 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 I didn't hurt my kids, didn't hurt my babies. He even said, like, it's not going to come back to me. So who's it going to come back to? Me too, Deco. She says, that always confused me as to why the judge denied the DNA request. Exactly. It was almost like they knew, like, this isn't going to make it to trial. I don't know. It's so bizarre. It's very bizarre. I think he was threatened into taking the blame. He should still be where he is, though. I agree. And I think that Nicholkessinger searching Ronnie Watts the night of their lazy dog date, which was, 2 days before the alleged murders took place, I think that that had a lot to do with a threat to Chris. Like, I think he was told, we're going to kill your kids if you don't follow through with our plan, which the plan, I believe, was the explosion plan. And we also know where your father lives and who your father is. We've looked him up. And again, that's not the truth. It's just my theory. He sounded legit to me in the prison interview when he quoted Bella, in my opinion, when he says, she says, daddy don't, or whatever. Is the same thing going to happen to me as it happened to Cece? And then he said her last thing he remembers her saying was, daddy, no. See, I believe that that took place, but I don't believe that it took place in the way that he's saying it. Again, it goes back to, like, people are going to believe certain things about this case and other people are going to believe, other things. So I think that Nicole Atkinson showed up at the house with the cops. They were all in panic mode. They said, you're not getting the kids back unless you follow through with this plan, and we'll hold on to the kids until you follow through. And so he had to hand the kids off to somebody at the Survey tank or whatever. And Bella says, daddy, please, or daddy, no, or whatever. And then that was their last goodbye to each other. Something. Again, it's just a theory. I don't know. Just as Jane says, in my opinion, Chris did it all. He was thinking only about being with Nicole, a selfish SOB. Right. I mean, again, who knows what the truth is? This is why we are so fixated on this case, because here, let me actually play this as we're talking, okay? So I'll play him by himself while I read your guys' comments, and then we'll go back to the prison interview as well. This is why we are so fixated on this case, because we know there is more to it, and what we were told doesn't make sense. Totally agree. In the least, NK helped clean up or transport the girls. At worst, NK killed the girls and helped in the murder of Shanann. Agree. Thank you for the tea break. We need that. The district attorney said himself that we don't know what happened that night. Right. Agreed, Amber. It's a rabbit hole of secrets and lies. Absolutely. It's unfortunate. People who have really investigated this case understand that official narrative is not possible. Totally agree, Sub Rosa. I mean, my moderator, Florida Bass Fishing, and I stand by the timeline of him out there that morning. When you look at him on his work computer, when you look at him making phone calls and texting and going to other survey sites with his truck, I mean, how was he supposed to do all that? Just dig the hole. Some people will argue, well, it was pre-dug. Maybe. But where's the evidence of that? Where is the evidence of one of his cars going out to Servian another day? We don't have that. So it's a possible theory, but where is the evidence to kind of back up that theory? You know what I mean? Like if we had something that said that his truck went out there on Saturday, and then we could say like, oh, see, it's possible he dug that hole on Saturday. I would say absolutely, that is definitely possible, but we don't have that. It's bizarre, guys. He heard him saying no because she wanted him to help her from someone else. I agree. I think that that's possible. I dismiss theories other than stupid guy kills family because he was sexually aroused by somebody beside his wife. I don't know how it would be different if they thought law enforcement were involved, especially if an internal affairs got involved. Chris was telling her about his dad. That is why she looked him up. But where's the evidence of that? Because when she's asked in her interviews, what did you guys discuss on your date? She says that they discuss micro or macros and dieting and that the Broncos were playing. She doesn't say anything about the family, the dad. And just because he mentions the father to her, why would she look him up? Remember, they go on a date. He goes home. He stops at a gas station. She looks up. Again, Chris is still looking at this picture of his kids right here. Side note. She looks up Ronnie Watts, Shanann Watts, and their address. I mean, that's weird to me. She'd been to the house before. Why is she searching their address? Even if she hadn't been to the house, why is she, searching the address? Good catch on the lack of defensive scars. Chris is a fool. I will never believe he repented till he tells the truth. I agree. Like, I'm sorry, but you can argue and say, but that's between him and God, and that's between him and Jesus. He doesn't owe the public the truth. Even Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, with how sick and twisted that case is. I mean, he lured guys to his house, drugged them. He was, having, you know what I'm talking about, with their bodies dead and alive. And then he ate them. Even he came out and told the truth and told the families where every victim was and faced a trial and repented in prison and allegedly was saved. So I'm sorry, isn't it twisted to say that it seems like Jeffrey Dahmer is a better person than Watts? I mean, that's how I see it. And that's crazy to me to say, given how horrific Dahmer is. He at least came out and gave closure to the victims' families and told the truth. He said he was taking responsibility. He never said he did the killings. Right, good point. Yes, NK and her friend have demons inside them, and these murders fed the demons. Hey, in T's apple bottom jeans, good to see you. Good comments, guys. Maybe the searches were to scare Chris to show that his family was going to be threatened. I could see that for sure. I could see it. Hey, Holly, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for being here. I think the whole shallow because of the explosion theory, she was temporarily placed there just to guess. Interesting. Very interesting. Girl, I just can't get over her texting him asking for the Metallica battery lyrics after the babies' bodies were put in the oil batteries. I think those two shits talked in a code a lot. Yeah, that whole her asking, like, what does this song mean? That to me I mean, I have my own theory on that. Again, it's not based on any evidence, so I don't even know if it's worth sharing. But yeah, that is a really strange aspect in it. Dahmer was so scary. I know. If the hole were pre-dug, it would have been deeper, in my opinion. Good point, Allison. Like, a lot of murders are shallow graves. So if he had the opportunity to really premeditate this and dig it how he should, you're right. I agree. Giving the address to others, perhaps, right? Giving Ronnie's information to others, perhaps, too. Shanann's family says they saw Chris carrying the bodies out like trash on video. That's a lie, in my opinion. Is there something the family saw that the public doesn't know? I don't think so, Adrienne. I think, sadly, just like we see in the Karen Reed case, for those who are following Karen Reed, I mean, the jury unanimously found her not guilty of murder, right? 12 jurors sat through a multiple week-long trial in Boston, Massachusetts specifically, and they found her not guilty, right? But yet it was a mistrial, obviously, but still, that it came out later that everyone found, all the jurors agreed on like that charge, not guilty. But yet the victim's family still believes Karen did it. So I feel like it's similar to that in this case, where the district attorney has manipulated the family, unfortunately, like he tried to do with the public, and he told them things that just were not true. And they support law enforcement and the district attorney in this case. So that hole was not dug Monday morning. No way. No way he did all that in an hour and didn't get dirty or sweaty, according to his coworkers. I don't think he took anyone to Survey. Agree. I mean, he's on the phone, he's on his work computer, he's driving to different sites, and all that can be verified by evidence from his truck information, the GPS, by evidence from his phone information, by evidence from his work computer. His coworkers end up showing up and they say that he wasn't sweaty, he wasn't panicky, he didn't seem off. I mean, it's not making sense. I think she was too busy stalking Shanann. Agree. I don't understand why he would continue to cover up for someone unless he is still scared the person who did it would still do something to another family member. Exactly. And if our theory, and again, this is just a theory, if our theory is correct, and there are people who put these kids in these oil tanks, like, why wouldn't they go after Ronnie? Why wouldn't they go after Cindy, Jamie's kids? Like, they're clearly evil. All right, let's play more of the prison interview. You guys still share your thoughts.
And then even more importantly, I think it probably left you with 1,000 things.
Can you guys hear it okay? Also, let me know.
You didn't get to talk about this. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but and so that's why we're here today. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about everything. I think there's a lot of things that you didn't get to talk about. And so, that's why we're here.
You guys see him picking his nose? Hang on. Let me just point that out real quick. Like, what are you doing in here, dude? And you're looking at it?
And it sticks with me that to this day, there's not one person that's told me, I saw it coming. I knew Chris was like that. I knew it. Not one person. So it's interesting to me, right? Not one. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Some of the people that we work with, your family, Shanann's family, have said, if you get to talk to Chris, would you tell him something for me? So we have that to talk about today, and it's good. I think you'll like it. I think it will give you some closure. And so really that's why we're here. Are you able to talk to us?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So off the bat, if you have any questions, just tell us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. We might press you a little bit. Okay. We might say, well, do you mind if we just maybe then ask one question? If something makes you uncomfortable, just tell us. If we need to take any bathroom breaks, we take bathroom breaks. And, for anything like that. And we'll take bathroom breaks and water breaks ourselves too. So then, is there anything about your schedule today that makes it that you can't talk to us?
No, there's like a pass for this at the AM and the PM.
Okay. They reserved the room the whole day.
Oh, okay.
Just in case.
That's just what they do.
Okay. I didn't know that was like 2 second thing or something like.
I think you have to go back for lunch to get counted for or something.
Oh,
accounted for.
Yeah, I think
11:30.
Lunch is like 11, but they count like 15. So.
So in general, how is it here?
It's a lot different in Colorado.
Is it?
Good or bad?
It's better, I think, because it's here. I'm actually around other people. In Colorado, it was just like I was segregated, and it was like hanging on walls all night, screaming, and it was hard
From other people?
Oh,
really?
They just telling me like how I should kill myself, and like what they're gonna do to me, and just like all that kind of stuff. So it was today. This is a lot different because people here don't seem to. It's not like they don't care, but it's just kind of like they don't like judge you as soon as you walk in. It was like they knew why I was there, and that was it. They were just like they had 1 second on hold of me. It would have been
really.
Yeah.
Must be out then.
Out of like what kind of jail? I don't know what it was like in DFC there, but they had to lock down the jail for me to walk down the hallway.
Wow.
All right, let me just check back with you guys. Johnny says he's a booger eater. Sicko. Exactly, I agree completely that he's scared the perp will go after another family member. What pic is he staring at of Shanann and the girls? Just the girls. So the fact that they only showed him a picture of the girls, like I think that their feeling at this moment, this is his FBI interview. This is just my opinion. I think that they're thinking like he had something to do with Shanann, but I don't think that they're 100% on him killing the daughters. So they gave him this pic to kind of test his emotions, check his body language and all that. Again, I don't know if that's the strategy here or their thoughts surrounding this at this point, but I do find it interesting because when we broke this down numerous times, we've stated that he'll say things about, the girls, and then he'll be like, oh, and Shanann, like she's an afterthought. So I don't know. I think it was strategic to just show the girls. And I think it's because they're not sure if he is the one that harmed the kids at this moment. Okay, hold on. Coder is back in the room. Sheila, I just got your PayPal. Thank you so much. I don't want to say your full name. But I just wanted to thank you very much for that. All right, so let's see what Coder has to say here. Yeah, what adult eats burgers? So yes, the house huddle is here checking in. So she has a live stream tomorrow night on her channel. Please check it out. And anyone can link her channel if you have a second. I can pull it up and link it as well. Tony says, I think they're trying to get him to say what happened to the girls. Was that not when Tammy told him to say Shanann killed the girls? We'll get to Tammy and his interview. I think after this interview breakdown, we're going to take a break from the interviews. We're going to, I don't know, do you guys want to do deep dives into Shanann's family's interviews with FBI? What do you think? You guys let me know. Let's see what Chris, I thought he ate his earwax. Oh, he does that too, Jacqueline. He does that too. We'll get to that. I think that that's in his interview with Tammy, but yeah.
So we're trying to figure this out without sending you home with a bunch of questions, right? We'd like to be able to tell you this is our plan for tomorrow. So far it looks like some of the things we need to do at your house are better at night and some are better in the morning. So we're going to probably split the difference and start very early in the morning. Now, between now and very early is probably about 3-4 hours, right? Is it possible for you to not go home during that time to your house?
Okay.
Can you go straight to your friends?
Yeah, I'm going to show my friends right here.
Okay. And then when you go straight to your friend's house, is it okay to ask that you don't go back to your house?
You just call me and give me a word.
Okay. All right.
Safe.
Okay. So we'd like to be able to, I don't want to do 2 searches at your house, because that will say to the public, oh boy, FBI is really interested in him. And then that's going to be a storm coming at you that we don't want. Okay. So we'll do that. We're going to send you home, go to your friend's house, get a good night's sleep, pick up your dad at 8 or 9.
Yeah. Just to verify with you, he leaves at like 5 Eastern time.
He already has a ticket?
Yeah.
Do you know when he's flying in, like what he's flying in on, or the company, or?
I told him to go United Airlines. It was cheaper, but I'm not sure because price kept changing on him.
He bought his ticket?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
Ronnie Watts.
Ronnie Watts. Okay. So we'll send you to your friend's house. You know, again, I can't tell you cannot go in your house, but I'd like you to not go in your house, if you can do that. And then we'll start early in the morning. I'll check in with you at around 8 or 9.
Okay.
You'll probably be on your way to the airport if not already there. And then, after that, can you just come straight here?
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's get everything out of the way. Let's get done with your search, and then we're just gonna, send you on your way, and we'll be back to this Chris, the good Chris, right?
Okay.
I'm sorry you have to go through all this.
It's part of the process.
Okay.
So you guys gonna stay in my house overnight, or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But actually, yes.
Okay.
There will be someone at your house.
Okay.
There will be a patrol officer in the front and in the back. And then, yeah, they're going to make sure. Well, and the reason is we don't want anyone else going to your house either.
Okay.
Some nosy reporters, some nosy neighbors.
Isn't it funny that he mentions the nosy neighbor? And here, okay, so Chris now just undid his arms, but for a little bit here, he's very much, remember when we were looking at Stephen Stearns in the Madeline Soto case body camera, and he's got his arms crossed the whole time, and he's just very closed off. He's got his body completely closed off. It's just funny, Chris standing up here talking to Coder with his arms crossed. It's just an interesting body language assessment. Again, not an expert, but I do know that people kind of describe that as they're protecting themselves, or they're, hiding stuff.
The reporters will be there because they're just cycling in and doing some spots here.
Right, yeah. So, but we also want to make sure that they're not sticking a camera in your window and, doing some sort of weird piece about your house and your home. And so, yeah, we'll make sure that no one else gets in there. And if you do need to go to your house, don't go without telling us.
Oh, no, yeah.
You don't want to get pig-piled by a bunch of patrol officers. Does that all sound good? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me 2 more minutes and then we'll walk out.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
Oh, do your girls travel with headphones?
They had them on the first trip there, but I hadn't seen them wear them on back.
What do they look like?
Like little unicorn type things.
Over the ear?
Yeah, they kind of slide over.
Okay. Were they colorful?
They're gray and pink, I think.
Do they ever take them shopping or anything?
No, that's the only time they ever used them.
Oh, okay. So if your wife was gonna walk around with them, she would be holding them with headphones?
No, because they just strap over and they have a little plug.
Okay. Is your family lactose intolerant?
No.
Do Do you ever buy lactose intolerant milk?
Just 2%.
Just 2% regular stuff? Okay. All right. We're just exploring. You can imagine 1,000 people are calling it right now, so we're just narrowing stuff down.
Okay.
Give me 2 more minutes.
All right.
And yes, just like I think it was Jennifer in chat said it, scrolling up. Chris doesn't ask one question on the progress of finding his family. So suspicious. And they kind of noted that. So before this interview at 2 a.m, he gets a call from law enforcement. We went through it in our last live stream. And in the discovery notes, the detective wrote that, it was interesting that Chris didn't even ask like our progress or if we're close to finding them. So here, the same thing can apply. Coder left the room for how long, He comes back and not once does Chris say, like, do you guys have an update? So yes, I agree. Very suspicious. Somebody asked about the oxy. Are you still here, Giselle? I will answer it if you're still here. If you're not, then I'm just going to move on. Why did they ask about milk and lactose intolerance? So Cheryl, before this video ends, Detective Baumhover comes into the room as well, and they present CCTV footage, and it's from a store. And somebody called in a tip and said, I think we see the people who are missing here at the store. So he looks at the footage, and I think that maybe they were buying lactose intolerant milk at the store. So that's why they end up asking that. Yes, he's texting, and who is he texting? We don't know because they never gave us his phone information fully. So, why don't we have Chris's full phone forensics? Kind of strange. What is he what are they hiding? See, he does it again there. He's telling the truth about the girls' toys. And I've seen your, so many body language experts will tell you this open palm gesture highly indicates truth. So I'd pay attention to what he's saying at that time mark. Very interesting. And Caroline, I agree with you. I know that you said something about the read technique ruined this case. I agree with that. And the polygraph was a mistake too. Everybody knows they are a sideshow junk. The operator is doing a cold read mind reading act. Agree. Totally agree. All right, let me just check with you guys. Can't help but feel like Chris did some kinky or taboo sex acts with Jim and NK. Yeah, possibly got broken in. Oh, could have done it to solve his financial troubles. Kind of a deal was struck. Listen, anything's possible. So I guess that person left who said that, oh, no one's going to answer my question about the oxys. So I can't get into that, I guess. Chris is somebody they should have never used read technique on. It went entirely wrong this time. Agree. It can be helpful. It can be a hinder, though, and cause a lot of false confessions. We all know that Shanann didn't kill the girls. Therefore, that was a false confession. I know people hate to hear that because I get the comments all the time. You don't know what you're talking about. Law enforcement uses a read technique and it works, blah, blah, blah. You think you know more than law enforcement? Well, no. But I do know that they don't teach it to federal agents anymore for a reason. The coworker deep dives in NK's house guest's ring and car. Female guest, house guest of NK that looks like Shanann. Explosion theory deep dives, please. Okay, so the explosion theory deep dive I've already done, and it's very exhausting to kind of repeat over and over because it's just a theory. If you're looking for a deep dive into that, I will link the deep dive here in chat. And I will also let you know that in my description box, I have links that I've kind of used for the basis of that theory. So in the description box, you'll find a section that says articles mentioned or articles related, and it'll have a bunch of links. Those links are really important links that I've used to kind of base my theories on. And then here is the explosion theory live. I'm putting it in chat right now. So if you haven't seen it, it's a couple months old, but it's got everything that you need, I think, for that, including the links in the description box. So got that there. Okay, hold on. No problem. But yes, Florida Bass Fishing wants me to go into the deep dive of the water truck guy. Like I said, next week I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to put out a pre-recorded video at some point about Watts. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Of course, it didn't come out. So look for the pre-recorded video. It's not going to be about the water truck guy, but the following week, I think I can gather enough time and information to kind of put together a deep dive referring to that. So that'll be specific for Florida Bass Fishing, and that information is in the discovery files. It's information that we can rely on because it was part of the investigation. Yes, I agree. The house huddle. I feel those initial interviews with law enforcement with her family, are the most open and honest. Yeah, I want to dig back into them. Okay, hold on. Halo. We've read her searches. That's pretty much as deep as that aspect goes. I still want to see the neighbor's footage of the unidentified woman going into the house in September. Agrees, Cindy. That would be a good topic to do. How about the following week after the water truck guy deep dive we'll do? So we'll do a couple topics on, yes, let's do that. We'll do the water truck. Okay, so next week will be a pre-recorded video. It's going to be a short one. The following week will be a longer live stream about the water truck guy. And then the week after that, we'll do the woman in September. All right. So again, hey, Sherry, good to see you. Let's finish this up here. We don't know who he's texting.
It will. So then make sure you were completely separated from anyone else. Jeez.
Like I didn't see anybody else there. Like I was next to somebody, but like I never saw them.
You just hear them.
I didn't know who you were.
I don't know. I just they make phone calls in there too.
Oh, okay.
And they got the newspaper in there before I got in there. So
yeah. How was have you been able to talk with family?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like we get it.
All right, so here is Detective Baumhover. He is the Frederick Police Department detective, homicide detective on this case. He's also the one that retired with PTSD disability after this case ended. A lot of people have wondered if there's more to his retirement or if it's just cut and dry and it was because, like he stated, he witnessed the recovery of the kids and it just, was too much for him. Other people think that he knows the truth and that he's unhappy with how this case was ended, so he retired. So we don't know the truth. He has come out basically saying in a blog that he had PTSD and that NK had nothing to do with this. But other people have said like, oh, he's just saying that. So it's very interesting. But yes, let's listen. This is where he's going to come in and say, like, we have CCTV footage of these people at this grocery store. Do you recognize them? And of course, Chris is going to say, like, no, that's not them.
So we've been doing some other things when we're here. We've had people calling in, stuff like that. So there was a sighting at Walmart. One of your kiddos, is Bella the oldest?
Yes.
Does she have long hair?
Well, if you let the curls down.
For how long?
So the curls would probably come like right here.
Okay. So this is a picture from your surveillance. You see that?
Yeah, it's just, the hair color looks a little off.
Yeah. I mean, look how long that braid is. Does that look right?
No, that braid's too long.
Is that like your wife?
Hair is too long.
Okay. That's what I thought too. So.
Great. Yeah, the hair looks a little too long.
We're trying, buddy.
Sure.
We are trying.
Very angle.
That would be CC in the back though. That was her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where she would sit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Bella ruling the roost up there?
Yes. Most times there's something in there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Bella, it's really... That's the picture I was talking about. Yeah.
And this is CC, right?
Yep.
And that's Bella?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was on the 4th of July.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is not much different, but it's got a lot longer hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Longer hair? Okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, we're ready.
Do I have to take this or no? This is...
Please leave all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you get your dad tomorrow, just come on in. He's gonna have a bunch of questions. I'll talk to everyone. Bring him in, let's talk.
I bring him here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can drop him off wherever you need to go.
Okay.
But he's probably gonna want to come here for something. And if he does, bring him. Don't feel like you can't bring him into this.
Okay.
Only way you gotta do it. Okay. All right. So I'll let you go through that.
I need to put your phone number on the...
You get it? Oh, okay.
That's fine.
You're
I'm taking that.
That one now.
All right, guys. So I don't know. I think this was a 6-part thing that we finally finished the interview with FBI. This is the day after everyone's been reported missing. This is before the bodies were found. This is after Chris had already stayed the night in the house and cleaned up everything. Now he's going off to his friend's house to stay the night, and Coder pretty much told him that they're going to do another sweep through of the house and their own assessment as well. So let me just check with you guys in chat, and then we'll close out. And tomorrow night, I will do the read through of another part in the book for the Idaho 4 case. And then, like I said, you won't hear from me next week, but watch my pre-recorded Watts video that I put out during the week. It's obviously not going to be a long live stream, but it'll still be Watts. Okay, so I believe his name was also Chris, oddly enough, the water truck guy, I think. And Troy didn't tell law enforcement he was there on Tuesday at first, so they re-questioned him about it. Very suspect. Exactly. Yep. Somebody close to Chris was at the crime scene and lied about it to law enforcement. Very, very sketchy. There was no reason for Troy to be at the crime scene alone before Chris confessed. Looking for a wrench? Really? Exactly. He told the water truck guy he's looking for a wrench. Then he told law enforcement that he was trying to find clues to help law enforcement out. So why did you lie to the water truck guy? Like, why didn't you? I can't even get into it because we will get into it live in a couple weeks. Can your interns take over the class next week? Yeah, I'm going to have Florida Bass Fishing take over the channel. You better say hello to us all at the beginning of that video, Amber. Oh, yeah, the replay viewers love when I say hi to you guys. I get the comments all the time. Wish we didn't have to spend like 5 minutes you saying hi to your chat. Well, then be here at the live stream. Don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to just ignore my live chat. He said Bella woke back up. Maybe they were seduced by some kind of smell and stuff. Cece is smaller and allergic, went into coma. There was crude oil in her stomach. So crude oil was in Bella's stomach. I think the woke back up thing could be that they heard stuff going on. So I do think that maybe they had seen and heard too much. Another reason why they needed to be silenced. Not only was Chris threatened, if you don't follow through, we're going to kill them, but they had to because, I mean, the kids were old enough to say to law enforcement, like, yes, I was here and this man had me. And you know what I mean? He has the phone because he's not under arrest. Guys, keep in mind, you don't lose your freedom just because they are questioning you. Yeah. I just wish we know who he was texting. Texting Nick and Amanda Thayer to go to their house. They are waiting for him in the parking lot of a police station. Could be. We just have no proof that that's who he's texting, but definitely could be. Could also be his father because he was just talking to Coder about the flights. I'll always believe they have text from NK that's incriminating. They are hiding so much. They're protecting her. She has so many red flags about her. She was a witness from day one. Agree. I agree that the read technique went left with Airhead Chris, and now his groupies won't let it go and still swear Shanann killed the girls. Exactly. And Agent Tammy tries to say, we had to go to the prison to clear things up, to clear Shanann's name. But yet you kind of like badmouth Shanann like in that interview too. So it's just kind of weird. And you know what's interesting too about his phone is he swears, he tells them that he didn't, NK told me to delete everything, but I didn't listen. Okay, so where's all those stuff? Because we have not, the public has nothing from your phone except the stuff that was picked and chosen by the district attorney to put in the discovery files. ATS, I could listen to Chris Watts' case and have been continuously. Have you looked at the Alexi Treviso case? I have. Very unsettling, but kind of like black and white to me. It's not like deep. I think that she knew she was pregnant, and I think that the baby was alive before she put her in that bag. But it is an interesting case for sure. Definitely have looked at it and seen a lot on it. Maybe NK knows a lot on others to blackmail them, in my opinion. Definitely possible. All right, guys. I just want to thank all my moderators. I don't know, Neil. Like, I think that he got that from the Reddit, personally. His specialty in CCTV. I don't know anything about him being an expert in CCTV, but I just know that that information was out there before he claimed it as his own. That's all. You can hear the sassiness in your voice when you talk about Tammy. I just can't stand the way she handled the case. I really, really respect Coder. Like when we did these breakdowns, you could see his expertise. You could see how, you know, he knew, he could read Chris. Like when he says, there's more than one face to you, Chris. Like that was absolutely on point. I do think that there was a little bit of confirmation biased when it comes to Coder saying something about like he was touching his neck. So we felt like he had strangled her. That was absolutely true. But I think that I don't know. I just think that maybe they thought that that was, I don't know. Let me actually play the video I did on that. We'll close out with that video.
Hello, Mama.
Hello.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? Okay, hold on.
I checked.
Amber, you're correct. Tammy, correct when you react so crazy when she's brought up. I just wish it was just handled differently. I wish that Coder was the one that nailed him completely and that this CBI didn't take over. Like, I hate that Colorado's investigators were the ones that kind of closed and finished this case out. FBI hands us off to CBI and Frederick Police. And we've seen even in the John Bonet case that CBI fumbled, that local police fumbled, and it continues in other cases. Even them with Barry Morphew, you know, they arrested him and couldn't like nail him in the time that it takes, and they had to let him go. And now it's come out that, you know, once her body's been found, Suzanne, that she was murdered. So what's going on with that? Has anyone seen any updates in the Suzanne Morphew case? All right, so this video I had done. Neil, how do you know that he doesn't have access to Reddit? Regardless, I really could care less if AD found it first or not. I just know that he wasn't the first to find it. Thank you, Grandma. I appreciate that. If anyone's timing anyone out, it was probably done by accident. Sometimes that just happens. So sorry if you guys got timed out. Unless you were trolling. I forgot to put it on subscriber mode only. All right, so this is only 1 minute and 45 seconds, and then we'll close out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to the moderators, the members, everyone that donated, anyone who just participated in chat and hit the like button. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys as soon as I get back. And like I said, the pre-recorded video will come out sometime next week. Okay, Neil, that's your opinion. No one said that AD has done a bad job. Are you AD by any chance? Oh.
I don't even know if I should say this, but Chris, while he was talking to Special Agent Coder, made a lot of movements towards his neck area. Made a lot of movements towards his neck area. Special Agent Coder actually came out of the room and he said he may have strangled her. Made a lot of movements towards his neck area.
So he doesn't always put me if I'm busy. So I don't know. That's other employees. That's a big company with a lot of HR, and do you have an employee assistance program? Oh yeah, they were there all day today. But it's like I got so many calls today. Those are questions that you can ask them. And so I don't know. I feel like I should have like processed all this. Yes. Okay. So just for context, because I just was at the point where I was like, if it's way.
Chris's interview was on August 14th when allegedly Coder drew this conclusion. NK's interview on camera was 2 days later after they got the false confession from Chris that he had killed Shanann because she killed the kids, which is in the arrest affidavit. Also, the public is not aware of the cause and manner of death at the time of NK's video here. It's interesting that agents draw conclusions based on Chris's body language, but why weren't the same conclusions drawn for NK's despite her exhibiting the same exact behavior?
It's Shanann. My gut tells me that they were in.
All right. So again, thank you guys all. Thanks everyone for wishing me a safe trip on our little vacay. Melanie, good to see you. I hope you watch the replay. And I will see you guys as soon as I can. And like I said, the house huddle, I have linked her channel in chat. I will link it again. She's doing a live stream tomorrow night on Watts. So in case you're kind of wanting more, I highly suggest her deep dives as well. Victoria, thank you for being here. I hope you watch the replay also. And thank you very much for that compliment. And yes, we will talk very soon. True Crime Paralegal, thank you so much for the Cash App for the baby cravings. I appreciate that. And yes, I will see you guys as soon as possible. And good night, everybody. Tomorrow night, I will be live on Idaho 4. So if you're interested in that case, join us back around the same time, 8:30, 9-ish, around that time. And yes, we will discuss that case also. So good night, everybody. And thank you very much again. Like and subscribe. See you guys later.